Here we go! Welcome to the first episode of my 10-part mini-series about the United States Army Drill Sergeant Academy.
He said it!
That never gets old and get used to saying it too. I was not DA selected, I volunteered for the Academy, and if you volunteered for it or DA selected, you're going to find this mini-series highly informative and will definitely get you mentally prepared on what to expect, but understand that I was part of the first class, or one of the first few classes in the first iteration of the all-new revamped Drill Sergeant Academy protocol and SOPs. So with that being said, I was part of class 016-20 that graduated 18 July of 2020. I was part of 1st Platoon Assassins who always lead the way. I'm Drill Sergeant SWARTZ with the New York Army National Guard. I am a full-time recruiter and a part-time drill sergeant with our recruit sustainment program with the National Guard out of Manhattan, New York. So I volunteered for this. I was not DA selected. If you are DA selected or volunteered, definitely tune into this video and all future videos because I am going to give you a ton of information. Like you, if you found this video, you are researching on what to expect at the Academy. So again, my experience is in the middle or amid the coronavirus pandemic. So I was part of the first iteration, again, that is going through the Drill Sergeant Academy. Now I'm sharing with you my experiences in the first iteration, so I would expect changes within what's about to be explained to you. Be flexible while at the Academy, drink the Kool-Aid, don't take it personal, and you'll be all right. Now, with a 2-week distance learning course, along with a new 5.5 resident portion, unlike the full version of 9 weeks at Fort Jackson. In class 016-20, we started with 107 drill sergeant candidates. We lost one drill sergeant candidate up front on day 1 because she tested positive for COVID-19, was self-quarantined for 2 weeks and sent home, and will be brought back at a later date to be recycled and start fresh. Somewhere about week 4, we lost another drill sergeant candidate due to COVID-19. He was a Jacksonite, caught it, or had the symptoms, decided to go get tested on his own cognizant. Then he tested positive for it and they self-quarantined him, and he will be starting at a later date once he's clear. In addition to that, we took on 2 additional drill sergeant candidates that were recycled from a previous platoon. So with those 2 drill sergeant candidates that came onto our class, we actually graduated all 107. That is a huge, huge feat, and according to our drill sergeant leadership, very unheard of. And we graduated with the highest amount of drill sergeant candidates achieving or basically getting on the commandant's list. So that is not a small feat, and part of that reason is what our drill sergeant leaders decided to do. So our drill sergeant, first sergeant, the senior drill sergeant, and deputy drill sergeant, based on conversations that they had with the sergeant major and so on and higher brass, they decided to do something totally unorthodox, something they never had done before. They said, like closer to the very end when we were conducting our AAR, they basically told us the reason why we were being treated differently than other platoons is that they've constantly gotten comments where they wanted to be treated like NCOs rather than trainees in their basic training environment like a normal trainee would. So they decided to treat us like NCOs, providing that as long as we acted like a trainee in a training environment. So with that being said, our leadership did not conduct corrective training, did not smoke us in any shape, form, or fashion outside of the first day when we did about 20 to 30 push-ups. And then somewhere around weeks 3 or 4, we did about 10 8-count push-ups, and that was it. That was all of the corrective training that we received as drill sergeant candidates. So yes, we got talked to like drill sergeants would be at trainees, so make sure that you drink the Kool-Aid. There is no rank there. You are a trainee, a drill sergeant candidate, so take it. So come with humility, don't take it personal, and unlike my experience, you're probably gonna be treated just like a trainee at a basic training environment. And these drill sergeant leaders have a knack for getting underneath your skin and saying some things that are gonna rub you the wrong way. So whether you're a sergeant first class, staff sergeant, and you think that you're better than them, or that you have more rank than them, you got another thing coming for you. You're a trainee in their eyes. So due to COVID-19 restrictions, we did not experience a shark attack, just like new trainees that are going to basic training also do not receive a shark attack because for the whole social distancing breathing thing. So while you're a drill sergeant candidate, at the Drill Sergeant Academy, you're gonna have to make sure that you act like a trainee. Always gonna maintain the battle buddy system, 2 or more, and if you have 3 or more Drill Sergeant candidates, you have to march everywhere you go. You're gonna have to wear your mask wherever you go. And you have to maintain your social distancing of 6 feet, because I know, personally, I got tired of hearing, 6 feet, Sergeants! I wanna get a t-shirt that says 6 feet, motherflower. Yeah, so it's super annoying dealing with COVID-19 restrictions, again, wearing the face mask along with the 6 feet social distancing, and you're not gonna use the DFAC a lot, so don't expect to be eating at the chow hall often. Most of your meals are gonna be hot A's and MREs. I think we received about 20 MREs throughout my 5.5 weeks there. So if you don't like MREs, I don't know what to tell you. I also learned that, I mean, prior to leaving, I was pretty nervous because I'm not very, very good at memorizing a bunch of things. And I'm pretty shocked and surprising myself in the amount of things that I was able to memorize. But understand that you don't have to necessarily memorize your modules verbatim. So if you mess up a few words here and there, that's perfectly fine, as long as the words that you do articulate when you're pitching your modules are meaning the same thing and you're covering all the key points of your module, and you will pass. You get 2 attempts every time you test or retest. You get your initial attempt, and then if you fail to hit a couple of key points or you did not stand at the position of attention when giving a command, they will say you failed to hit some pertinent points, Sergeant. You may begin your second attempt. There you have your second attempt, and providing that you hit your key points and everything that you've missed that they docked you on, then you're going to pass. One person, apparently, based on what some people were saying in their particular platoon, yeah. So when you get there, your platoon is like, for us, it was 107 drill sergeant candidates, and we broke us up into 5 different squads, ranging from 18 to 20 some odd drill sergeant candidates each, which we refer to ourselves as a platoon, and we treated ourselves like a company, even though we're not a company, we're actually a big, really, really big platoon. So one of the drill sergeant candidates from the other platoon was basically saying that this person pitched the entire module in their own way, in their own words, and still passed because they expressed it or described everything in their own words, but the words that they chose met the requirements of explaining it in the same words, if that makes sense. So just understand that, you know, you should be memorizing it as best as you can verbatim, and I'm going to teach you how to prepare for learning your modules when I get to that video, which should be the next video. So definitely look out for that. So how hard is the Drill Sergeant Academy? I don't think it was extremely difficult. I think it's perfectly doable, providing that you don't take things personal, because they will be yelling at you, and yeah, they have an inept ability to get underneath your skin, and they're going to be yelling at you, and it doesn't matter if you're a sergeant first class like myself or a sergeant. So, and it doesn't matter if you've been in for 10 years or 5 years. Take it with a grain of salt, drink the Kool-Aid, go with the process, act like a trainee would, and you'll be fine. The hardest part about the Drill Sergeant Academy, in my opinion, was memorizing the modules, and second, tactics. I haven't done tactics in a very, very long time, so I've been recruiting for a long time, so for me, it was awesome. I had a lot of fun remembering it, learning it, and getting ready for it throughout the academy and performing those tasks when we did them. So for me, that was the hardest part, was the tactics. Outside of that, I had a great experience. You will too. Just, you know, immerse yourself into the training, manage your time properly and effectively, and you'll do just fine. Distance learning, yes. On one end, it sucks because you're home, you're not at the course, but on the other hand, you are home, you are comfortable. They're not seeing you on the screen, so you could literally be in your pajamas watching them talk and teach their classes. And what I would suggest is that you call in, and if you need to walk away to use the bathroom, obviously put it on mute. But you can hear everything that they're saying in the class. You're just not going to see what's on the slides in the blackboard when you're doing your classes. But the good thing about distance learning is because all you're doing is the classroom requirements that you would normally do at the academy, home on the distance learning course, it gives you enough time to study to make sure that you do good and well enough on the test so that it primes you and puts you in a good position to be able to qualify to get onto the commandant's list later on. Also, fair warning that if you get a negative counseling during your distance learning portion of your training, that will knock you off the running for honor graduate or distinguished honor graduate later on. Bottom line is just do your best, and you don't have to go hard or ham on the studying. Just review the slides that you receive on Blackboard. Go through the notes, what the drill sergeant leader is discussing, and that's how you'll study. How do I feel about the Drill Sergeant Academy being shortened down from 9-week resident portion down to a 5.5 resident portion? I feel robbed. I felt like I was looking forward to 9 weeks. I was partially using the Drill Sergeant Academy to get back into shape, although it's not really great food or necessarily healthy food, but it's healthier than what most people would eat. So I was looking forward to clean eating, working out every day, getting in the best shape of my life, just like I did initially when I went to basic training back in 2001. I was also looking forward to the Army Combatives, which is no longer a thing at the Academy due to coronavirus restrictions, along with the Combat Lifesaver course. They may be bringing that back once they revamp and figure out ways to overcome the COVID-19 restrictions. So you may be experiencing the Combat Lifesaver portion of the training when you get there, but for me, not so much. So as a result, one of my goals, which I did not get, was to get qualified and certified in Level 1 Combatives. So our platoon was not treated like other platoons around us at the Academy, or like any other platoon in any other time frame previously to our class. So when we were conducting our end of the cycle AAR towards the end of the Academy, our senior drill sergeant was explaining to us that every time they do an AAR at the end of the cycle, they were always told that us drill sergeant candidates wanted to be treated like NCOs and not like trainees. So our senior drill sergeant leadership decided collectively that they were gonna try something brand new, which was to treat us like NCOs, providing that we acted like trainees in a training environment for their initial training at basic training, and to conduct training to standard, not to time. Part of the reason to training to standard, not to time, was because they didn't want us at the Academy or around each other any more than that we needed, because under normal circumstances and what other platoons were still experiencing is that if they completed their tasks for the day on the schedule, they would make up additional training to keep them busy and actively engaged until they meet the end of the day time that was allotted on the schedule. So that we appreciated, and that allotted us maximum time to prepare for the next day and for additional graduation requirements like researching and preparing our PowerPoint presentation for our classes that we would have to teach later on, to memorize our module pitches and stuff like that. So for that, I definitely appreciated training to standard, not to time. So let me get back to treating us like NCOs. So with that being said, we did not experience a shark attack like normal trainees would at a basic training environment, or how other drill sergeant candidates previously, prior to COVID-19, we didn't get it because of the social distancing aspect and the masks and breathing, and you get it. So with that being said, in the first 30 minutes during the accountability formation, we got maybe corrective training for about 20 push-ups, give or take, and then somewhere, I think in week 3 or 4, we had to do 10 8-count push-ups because we kind of embarrassed our drill sergeant leaders because we weren't sounding off loud enough in comparison to another platoon that was next to us. So they made us recite it again, and because we didn't do it, so as a result, we did the 8-count push-up for 10 reps. But outside of that, we did not receive any additional corrective training. And again, like I said, for the most part, they treated us like NCOs, providing that we acted like trainees in every shape, form, or fashion, maintaining the battle buddy system. If you were going somewhere in groups of 2 or more, we had to march. We had to sign off with cadences. Chow hall procedures. When you did use the defact, you had to make sure that you were holding the tray like up here, up your chest, and sidestep and do your facing movements and act like you were marching the entire time. So everything was as if we were a trainee, and if we failed to do that, which we did often, we would get yelled at by the drill sergeant leaders, and of course they always threatened corrective training, but they didn't, because they were trying to, it was like a fine line that they were trying to skirt, and it was, I could tell that they had a little bit of difficulty treating us like NCOs while expecting us to perform like trainees, and it was kind of like, do you really want us to act like trainees, or do you want us to act like NCOs? So it was kind of weird. It was a weird dynamic. So it was tough for them to manage and maintain that new initiative, but it is what it is. Based on observations of other platoons, they were straight up getting practically, in my opinion, hazed, just like normal basic trainees at a training environment, where they were constantly getting smoked, constantly getting reamed at and screamed at, drill sergeants all up in your face, all kinds of different things, man. It was like literally watching like a legit basic training drill sergeant screaming at new privates. Sometimes borderline downright disrespectful and downgrading, but it is what it is. That's why I said just drink the Kool-Aid. Earn the badge and the hat, okay? You're there to succeed. They want you to pass, just like basic training. So they're doing it for tough love. Our class 016-20 made United States Army Drill Sergeant Academy history. In 7 years, we had the highest graduation rate at 100%, minus the 2 people that we lost due to COVID-19. But academically speaking, 100% of us who attended the class passed the class and graduated. In addition to that, we had the highest amount of soldiers on the commandant's list. In the past, the academy was lucky to have 1 to 3 people make it to the commandant's list. Sometimes they had graduations where they had 0 people on the commandant's list. And that is a huge testament for them training to standard, not to time, giving us the maximum amount of time to study and all that good stuff that we needed to do as drill sergeant candidates to prepare for our graduation requirements. So at the academy, they're going to teach you how to do your job as a drill sergeant, but not how to be a drill sergeant. They say that when you get onto the trail, that's where you'll learn how to be a drill sergeant. I personally would have enjoyed and would have appreciated a longer resident course, but I do feel that based on the tasks that we had in our schedule and everything, 5.5 weeks was just right. I honestly feel that we could have probably narrowed it down to 5 weeks instead of 5.5 weeks, but I get it. It's cool. I respect it. Do I feel that the academy is hard? No, I don't think that it was that hard. For me, the tactics was the hardest part in memorizing the module pitches. Other than that, it's totally doable. I mean, everything's totally doable. It's just how much effort you're willing to put into it. In the 5.5 weeks I was there, I did lose 10 pounds because you're gonna be burning off a ton of calories. So in the first 2 weeks of the resident portion, all you're doing is PRT all day, every day. So I'll get into this further in other videos, but instead of learning and memorizing 6 module pitches, you will be learning 3 in your 5.5 weeks while you're there. And one of them you should have already memorized prior to getting there, which is your top 3. So make sure that you memorize your top 3 before getting there. And then you're gonna have to learn 2 additional modules while you're there. So that's about 5 modules that you would have to memorize in total. I suggest that you start memorizing the other ones, or at least getting a really good grasp of what they are, so that when you do hit the trail, you're still able to perform those tasks in front of trainees and not look like a pile of trash. One of the downsides of having a 5.5 week resident course is that you get less time doing PRT as a platoon and all that good stuff and getting all that practice. Literally, you only have 2 weeks when you're there versus 4 weeks when you're there for the normal 9-week course. So you're gonna have to really dive into the drill sergeant handbook and learn how to describe each exercise for all the drills. What the preparation drill, CD1, CD2, climbing drills 1, MMD1, MMD2, and the recovery drills 4 for the core, and hip stability drills. You're gonna have to learn and memorize, not memorize verbatim, but learn how to conduct each exercise. So when you're AIing each PRT session, when you're walking around, you have to be able to describe it. For example, you're doing the bend and reach. As soon as they say the bend and reach, and then the platoon sounds off, the bend and reach. Start position, move. As soon as they say that, then that's when you're gonna walk around. Start position is the straddle stance with the hands overhead, arms locked forward, fingers and thumbs extended and joined, palms facing inward. On count 1, you're going to bend at the knees and hips, placing your arms between your legs, fully extended, palms facing inward. On count 2, return back to the starting position. On count 3, repeat count 1, and on count 4, so on and so forth. You get the point. You're gonna have to learn how to do things like that all throughout your PRT sessions. So it is imperative that you prepare yourself before. So when you see that next video, when I talk about all this stuff, heed my warning, memorize this stuff, because you're gonna have less time to study and memorize all this stuff. So the more you prepare, the easier your experience will be at the Drill Sergeant Academy, and you can focus on the bigger things while you're there. And come with some humility, because it doesn't matter what your rank is, how long you've been in the Army, or what your MOS is. So it doesn't matter if you're 11 Bravo or 42 Alpha. We are all equals. And if you come in there with a chip on your shoulder thinking that you're better than somebody else, Drill Sergeant leaders will light you up. Overall, I enjoyed myself at the Drill Sergeant Academy only because I drank that Kool-Aid like a mother flower. I was gulping that stuff. But it's not that hard. I mean, it's challenging. It is definitely going to challenge you mentally and physically because you're starting your days earliest 03:45 in the morning, going until about 20:00 at night. So you're going to have some super long days, 6 days a week. You do not have a full weekend off like the normal Drill Sergeant Academy schedule. So you're going to be working 6 days out of the week with 1 day off. And you're still going to have to knock out some Drill Sergeant Academy requirements to set yourself up for success during the week because you're going to have limited time in the evenings to help yourself. So time management is crucial at the Academy. So do me a favor, share this video, like the video, and stay tuned. The next video I'm going to share with you are the best tips to prepare yourself for the United States Drill Sergeant Academy. So I'll see you in the comment section down below. If not, I'll see you in the next video. That's it. Video's over. Sorry, but you could definitely watch more. You can check out this video here, or maybe you can check out this video here. But you know what? Actually, this video is pretty good. You should definitely watch this one. But actually, this one seems pretty great. You should definitely check out this video. But actually, why don't you watch them both? Try clicking them both